This video is about Bowen treatment for shoulder pain. The way we walk, the way we sleep, sit, drive, move our bodies, and interact with the world impacts our bodies. So often I found my shoulders up near my ears in response to a drama on TV, let alone in response to real life. So in response to life's dramas, our nervous systems kick in to keep us safe. And this can lead to an unconscious holding of our shoulders, which could lead to sore and swollen tissue. And if this becomes a normal response pattern, as is so often the case, it can lead to chronic inflammation. As far as dealing with shoulders, and obviously this is not naming all the shoulder muscles, we have pec major in the front, the lats at the back, and then serratus under each arm, and all the smaller ones that can be the cause of discomfort. And of course then we have fascia, or connective tissue if you like. We've got lymph vessels and nerves that could be involved in the discomfort, and that's just part of the orchestra that I have named that tunes up the body in this area. And when we have shoulder pain, we think of them in isolation and think we can just have that specific point or spot or muscle treated. Yeah, right. You might have pain in the deltoid, which is there, and on picture it is there. But if you look at this picture, you can see that any number of muscles could be causing the pain. Add into the mix how the brain interprets pain. Lorimer Moseley, he's a pain specialist, tells a story about himself when he was on his way for a swim in the river, as you do. I forgot to mention he lives in Australia. So on his way down to the river, walking through the bush, he felt something touch his calf. He looked down and he didn't see anything, so he carried on walking. And the next thing, he woke up in hospital. He had been bitten by a deadly snake, and he was really lucky to have survived. So, some while later, he was walking in the bush again, and his calf just brushed a twig, after which he was instantly in excruciating pain because his brain was saying, "You're going to die." That's how our brains interpret pain. So it can really overreact and be overprotective, as was the case with this twig incident. So when we injure ourselves, say for instance our shoulders are hurting because of how we do one action too often, and if this is in response to what's going on in our lives, then every time something happens that emotionally or physically challenging, our brains interpret this as more pain, and we are caught in a cycle of discomfort and sometimes agony until we can learn to manage our stress levels better. The trapezius, this one, is involved in our primitive response to danger. It's when we lift our heads. We're looking out for danger. Lions and tigers, snakes. This muscle senses the danger to our modern day stresses, like worries about money, work, home, life, etc., which means this muscle's overworked. And being in constant flexion, and of course, the lats and the pecs and the other muscles in the area will be compensating for what's happening with the traps. And if we spend lots of time on our phones and in front of the screen, this muscle, the green one, the SCM, can also contribute to the discomfort. One of my favorite mantras is, there's nothing that is not connected. The muscles and the fascia in the shoulders, under and around the armpits, influence tissue far and wide. Like the pecs, can have an impact on the forearm, just for example. The pec major connects down to our abdominal six-pack. I won't show you how well developed mine is. And then to the adductors, which are the muscles that attach at the inner frontish of the thigh bone. And then the lats are linked through the glutes, bum cheeks, and down the hamstrings. That's how much the shoulder area can impact the rest of the body. And that's just another one example. There are lots of lymph vessels in the area, which is those are all lymph vessels in this upper area. And our lymphatic system is crucial for our immune system to function well and for protecting us from inflammation and illness and keeping our lymphatic flow smooth and free from lymph congestion. It's critical to our health and well-being. So if the shoulder area is tight, the tightness can restrict the flow of everything. So the lymph system needs to be addressed before any muscle and fascia issues are addressed. And having an NST Bowen treatment is a real plus because it allows adhesions to free up, the lymph system is stimulated to allow fluid to flow more freely in the connective tissue. It also helps the blood supply because of the fluidity increase. And capillaries travel through fascia and nerves rely on blood supply, which is increased by a bone treatment. All of this adds up to relief of painful symptoms, not only of the shoulder area, but the whole body. So a treatment impacts our proprioceptors and our mechanoreceptors, which are part of the nervous system. They're the sensory nerve receptors situated in the fascia, muscles, tendons, joints, and the lining of the bone. They get information to the central nervous system about the movement, position of the limbs, torso, and neck. And the treatment consists of carefully orchestrated movements along the spine and at specific points throughout the body. These movements consist of a subtle rolling of muscle, nerve, tendon, and connective tissue, which is so relaxing. And it's in this deeply relaxed state that facilitates the impact of specific soft tissue moves that seems to act upon the body's autonomic nervous system to enable it to achieve homeostasis at a cellular level, and so allows the body to regain its natural balance. So if you've enjoyed this, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.